Hi, Tina. We're so glad that you could join us today.
So am I. It's great to be here.
Thank you. And we're looking forward to talking to you just about your experience conducting qualitative research. So I'd like to ask you first if you could just tell us how you came to be doing the kind of research that you do.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I think I always sort of had an interest in multiple forms of data when it came to asking questions about different educational phenomena. So I enjoy survey design and survey data analysis. I enjoy looking at large-scale data sets. Much of my work focuses on qualitative data analysis, although I also do some mixed methods work. The qualitative data analysis that I've engaged in has primarily been motivated by my sort of dissatisfaction with the kinds of answers that I can get from traditional large-scale data sets. I find the working with these types of data sets illuminating. I find it useful with respect to certain questions, but the questions that are driving my research bring me to, or lead me to using more traditional qualitative methods. I'm interested in understanding the interaction between different, very powerful contextual influences and different educational outcomes, particularly with respect to schools and school districts in urban settings.
And could you tell us a little bit about your dissertation research?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my dissertation looked at a case of centralization at the district level. So sort of centralization both in terms of the organization of a district as well as the types of policies and reforms that were being rolled out in this particular case. And I was interested in it because when I looked across schools and interviewed principals just as a graduate student, I oftentimes heard educators and leaders saying that they were doing something, but they weren't entirely sure why they were carrying out a certain mandate or why they were following a certain set of guidelines. And it oftentimes, when I tried to trace back these questions about why, it oftentimes led me to the central office. At the same time, I saw that more and more school leaders and teachers were talking about the role of testing and the role of high-stakes accountability policies inside of their classrooms. So that took me to the district office, the central office, to see how districts were grappling with these policies that are now holding districts, not just individual schools, accountable for test-based school outcomes. I looked at the relationship between different attempts to standardize, a district's attempts to standardize what was happening across all of their schools and across all of their classrooms in terms of instruction, in terms of curricular materials, in terms of different professional learning for the teachers, training, things like that. And I looked at the relationship between these sort of district policies and instructional quality, in particular instructional quality for English learners and students of color. And what I found was that regardless of the degree to which schools implemented the policies as they were prescribed, or essentially adhered to more sort of standardized, more centralized ways of working, the level or the quality of instruction didn't necessarily go up for their students. So I saw in settings where there were fairly low levels of implementation, instructional quality still was lagging in terms of its specificity for English learners and its sensitivity or its responsiveness to students of color. And then I found in high implementation settings something very similar was occurring. So it made me then sort of take a step back and want then to go and ask questions about what was happening in the central office. If implementation with these types of sort of standardized, more centralized policies didn't necessarily correlate with different levels of instructional quality for the most marginalized students, what was happening in the district that led to that? So then I spent some time looking at the district politics around the policy making itself.